The Chair recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Schiff, for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, equal justice under the law, impartial and uniformly applied, has been for more than 2 centuries the ideological underpinning of American democracy. But from the beginning, the noblest aspiration has been intertwined with our struggle with race, a battle that has sometimes come to define our nation and to divide it in ways that too often cleave us still today. 150 years since the Emancipation Proclamation and half a century after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 formally ended Jim Crow, our President, his Attorney General, Secretary of Homeland Security, and National Security Advisor are all African American. Blacks are now prominent in every facet of American life. But much of this has occurred during my lifetime because people marched and sat, voted, and demanded greater equality. Yet despite the progress, equal justice under law is not the reality for too many of our fellow citizens, and injustice continues to limit their lives and their livelihoods in ways that are difficult for many white Americans to comprehend. Inequality manifests itself at every rung of the criminal justice system, but its most deadly consequences are to be found in the encounters of young men of color with the police. I've seen the video of Garner in New York and watched the tragedy in Ferguson in the aftermath of the shooting of Michael Brown. The agony of those families and the anger of their communities have rightfully moved the nation. Sadly, they are not alone. The deaths of Eric Garner and Michael Brown grabbed national headlines, but decades of strife between police and many poor and minority neighborhoods have resulted in an endemic mistrust of law enforcement there. One need only consider a phenomenon almost completely foreign to much of America: the talk. It is a ritual that plays out in black and brown households across our nation every day as parents teach their young children about the special dangers they face with law enforcement. As a father, to hear that is heartbreaking. As someone who has long worked with and on behalf of law enforcement and who has deep respect for the bravery and integrity of so many who wear the uniform, it's a call to action. First, in the months since the Michael Brown shooting, I have pressed for greater deployment of body-worn cameras to police departments across the country, an idea the President has now endorsed. Cameras are not a panacea, but they are a first step on a path to greater accountability and transparency. Second, since cameras alone will not bridge the chasm of mistrust between many communities of color and police there to protect them, we must invest in a 21st century police department. Effective policing requires mutual respect between the public and the police, and a renewed emphasis on community policing strategies, diversifying police forces so they are more reflective of the communities they patrol, and improving the training of officers to reduce the likelihood of violent confrontations are essential. This won't be accomplished overnight, and generations of injustice have left deep scars. So the third leg of any effort must be enforced by oversight through the Department of Justice, which has a long record of working with state and local agencies to modernize and improve practices and behavior. We ask a lot from our police and have a difficult and dangerous job, and we grant them enormous power, including the right to take a life under certain circumstances. It is not only proper that we insist this power is used impartially and as a last resort, it is fundamental to a just society. In a 1951 speech to the New York Legal Aid Society, the great jurist Learned Hand challenged his audience: "It is the daily, it is the small, it is the cumulative injuries of little people that we are here to protect. If we are able to keep our democracy, there must be one commandment: thou shalt not ration justice." 63 years later, on a street corner in the same city, Eric Garner hauntingly invoked hand when he pleaded in vain, "Every time you see me, you want to mess with me. I'm tired of it. It stops today. I'm minding my own business, officer. I'm minding my own business. Please just leave me alone." Mr. Speaker, it must stop today. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.